Okay, now we are going to prepare the pastry cream. Like we say it in other opportunity in the podcast, we talk about the different techniques to prepare this recipe. So in this case, in this occasion, on this opportunity, we have this the mixture of all the ingredients. So you have to be careful because sometimes the dry ingredient is going to be on the bottom of the container. So shake it. And you need a pot and a whisk for this. So I'm going to pour the mixture on the pot and I will start to cook in a low heat, please. Low heat, it's very important. And you will use the whisk to combine, and all the time you have to move the mixture. So okay, after 5 minutes you will see the texture is going to change, so you need to be careful. You need to mix all the time and try to go on not only in the center. Try to remove the cream from the walls of the pot. Okay, can you see now? How can I know it's ready? Well, you will see big bubbles. This is simmering, this is ready. So in this moment we will going to remove from here. If you will not use it, it's probably you don't have to use it immediately. So remember, you have to pour this mixture in a bowl and cover with a plastic film, and finally use it. You can use a inverse bain-marie or cold water bath, and then preserve in the fridge. Okay, we are going to finish in this part, and we are going to follow to add the gelatin to prepare our diplomatic cream. Okay, now we have here our pastry cream, the coffee pastry cream, and we bloom the gelatin, and we are going to add to the cream in this moment. And with a spatula, rubber spatula, we are going to combine and dissolve the gelatin in the cream. You'll see it's very important. You need to check that the gelatin is dissolved. Okay, it's very important. I'm going to give extra information in this point. To bloom the gelatin, we use it powder gelatin. So you have to use, for every gram of powdered gelatin, 5 or 6 grams of water to bloom this ingredient. Okay, and when you bloom, you have to let rest maybe 5 minutes before use it. So now, can you see the difference? It's gonna be a little shining. The color is the same, but the texture is going to change a little. And when it will be cold, you will see the texture is totally and completely different. Now, we are going to cover the pastry cream with a film, a plastic film, sorry. But remember, it's not to cover the bowl, it's to cover the surface of the cream. So you have to go until the bottom of the bowl. Sorry, no, otra vez. ¿Qué me pasó? Chale. Now we are going to cover the cream with a plastic film. Remember, the plastic film has to be on the surface of the cream, not on the top of the bottom of the bowl. Okay. Now we are going to reserve this in the fridge for almost 1 hour. Now we are going to prepare the Chantilly chocolate cream. For this we are going to use whipping cream, dark chocolate, If you can find this kind of chocolate or this presentation, you can chop. We are going to use glucose and gelatin. That's all we needed. Remember, you have to bloom the gelatin. And in this part, we are going to simmer in the cream and add the glucose. And we are going to let simmering for 1 or 2 minutes. When the cream is simmering, you have to turn off the heat, and we are going to add to the chocolate and the gelatin. Now we are going to add the cream to the chocolate. Remember, the chocolate starts to dissolve at 45 degrees. So it has a perfect temperature, and we are going to add the bloom gelatin. And with the rubber spatula, we will mix until get a homogeneous texture. Okay? You don't need to use a whisk. With a rubber spatula is enough. If you don't have a rubber spatula, you can use a wooden spoon or a steel spoon. You see? With this move, in a circle, we try to dissolve and at the same time emulsify all the ingredients. Okay? When you finish, you will cover the top of the bowl with plastic film and go to the cold water bath. So it's ready. You'll see it's shining and it looks homogeneous. Okay, for the lime curd, we are going to use whole eggs, white chocolate, lemon zest, bloom gelatin, sugar, and lime juice. So the recipe says you have to mix and combine the lime juice, eggs, sugar, and the grated zest. Everything, all these ingredients is going to be in a pot and combine. Now we are going to cook this low heat for 5 or 6 minutes. And in a bowl, you will pour the chocolate. Remember, if you can get a small portion of chocolate. You can cut or chunk the chocolate to get a better result. And the gelatin is blown. Okay. Now we are going to cook this in a low heat. You can use a whisk to combine all the time. You need to be careful. It's very important because it's gonna cook faster than other creams. Okay. And control the temperature. If you feel that or you see the temperature is going to be start to be higher, remove from the heat. It's okay. Okay, when you start to see this texture, look at it. When you mix with the whisk, you will see the bottom of the pot. So that means it's ready. So now we are going to pour this mixture on the chocolate. Now we are going to pour the cream on the chocolate. For that, you can use a rubber spatula and combine. Sorry. Combine until dissolve the chocolate. So at the same time, you will add the gelatin, the bloom gelatin. And we're going to mix. Now, after mix the ingredients and combine everything, you will get this cream. And now we are going to cover with plastic film and reserve in the fridge for almost 2 hours before use it.
Okay, well, now we're going to start to cook the pâte choux. In this moment we have a pot here in the stove, and we're going to start adding the ingredients. In this case it's going to be water. Okay. We're going to add the milk. Okay. We're going to add the butter. In this case, it's just sliced. Okay. And we're going to add the salt, 3 pinches of salt. In this case, this recipe doesn't take any sugar, and what we're going to do is to take it to boil. We're going to wait until this is boiling and this is really good mixed before we add the flour. So we're going to wait around 5 to 6 minutes until this is boiling before we can continue with the recipe. Well, after around 5 minutes that it's on the cooking, it's starting to boil. When this mixture is starting to boil is the perfect moment for we add the flour. This flour is going to be added in just one exhibition, and when we do it, we're going to start to move it. For this, we're looking for the flour start to get cooked at the same time that we make a dough homogeneously. Okay, so now we are moving, and we have to be cooking this mixture until this start to unstick from all the edges of the walls of the pot and in the bottom. Okay, after 2 minutes of me moving this mixture, you can see that it's totally unsticking from all the walls. So now this is ready to be taken out of the fire. And we're gonna bring it to the mixer, and we're gonna start beating it until it's cold. Okay, so let's go there. Okay, now that the mixture is ready, we're going to use this mixer to help us to get it cold. So we're going to serve the mixture here in the bowl, and after that we're going to turn it on in a moderated speed. And for this is going to be useful for in a couple of minutes we start adding the egg piece by piece to get the final texture we're looking for the eclairs. Okay, now we're going to put this down. I'm going to put security here, and we're going to start mixing it in a low speed. As you can see, all the steam is getting out now, because this process is going to help us for this get colder and the eggs doesn't get cooked in the moment that we add them. Let's wait until around 5 to 10 minutes for this mixture is well beaten, and we're going to start adding the eggs one by one. Okay, after around 10 minutes of beating this in the mixer, we can start adding the eggs one by one. But remember, if you don't have this kind of mixer at home, you can do it hand by hand, and you can use a wooden spoon for this and be moving it in a bowl. Obviously this is going to take a little bit more of time, but anyway, this is something that we could do at home with the things that we used to have there. Okay, now as you can see, we don't have a steam right now. Okay, the point here is that we don't see any point of a steam, and even if you want, you can stop the mixer, or you can take a little bit of this dough to put it in your hand and feel the heat. If you feel that it doesn't burn, it's ready for you to start adding the eggs. Okay, so now at this point we're going to lower a little bit of speed. Okay, we're going to lower a little bit of speed, and we're going to start adding the egg pieces. Okay, and we're going to start, we're going to wait until this gets very well mixed. Okay, we always have to make sure that the first amount of egg that we add be full mix it before we can start adding the rest. Okay, now let's set the next amount. Okay, we're gonna wait again until it gets very well mixed again. Okay, as time still passes and this is still working, you can see that the texture starts changing. So let's keep adding the other parts of the mixture. We're gonna low down a little bit of speed because it could be going up flying. We don't want it at home. We don't want this, okay? And we're gonna add a little bit more of the egg. And you can see from this point that every time that we add the eggs, the texture starts changing. One point that is really important in this part is to know that not always, we're not going to use always the full amount of egg. So many times it will depend of the moisture that the flour could have. Okay, so if we have a flour that have a little bit more of moisture than what it should, we should limit the liquids. But in this case, we can see that the mixture is asking for a little bit more of egg. So we're going to add. Okay. And I think that this mixture is going to take all of the egg on the recipe. Okay, well, after a couple of minutes beating, we're going to add the last part of the egg. Okay, we're going to lower down a little bit the speed again. And we are adding the last part. Okay, we're going to keep beating this until the mixture is completely homogeneous. After around 2 or 3 minutes more, we can see that the mixture is completely mixed, it's completely homogeneous. Now is the moment to turn it off. Okay, now for this there are so many tests that we can make sure that the texture we're looking is the right one. So what I recommend you to do is to drown this additium of the mixer, and if you can see, the dough starts sticking on it. Okay, and when we take it away, we can see like some kind of triangle here. Okay, this is what in Spanish we call pico de pato. Okay, like a dog tip. When we have this texture, okay, that it gets suspended in this additium, it means that the mixture is in the right texture that we're looking for. Okay, so now what we are going to do is put this in the piping bag to serve it on the tray. Now we have this mixer like this way, okay, and this is the point in which we're going to start filling the piping bag. We have the plastic piping bag here with the tip, and what we're going to do is to serve this mixture over the piping bag. Okay, it's really important that we take care to don't have any kind of air bubble inside, because this could affect the final presentation of some pieces of eclair we're going to be serving on the trays. Okay, so now we put this over here. Okay, we push a little bit back and make sure that we don't have any air bubble here inside. Push it down to try push in the part where we see some kind of bubbles here. Thanks. Now we have the piping bag ready. Okay, the piping bag ready for serving the mixture on the tray. Let's have the tray here. Okay, and here we have marked. I'm gonna move a little bit this wax paper. So we have the marks of where are we going to be serving the mixture. Okay, now what we're going to do is to take one of these marks and we're going to serve like this. Okay, the marks are going to serve us to make it as uniform as the way we can. Okay, one recommendation I can give you too is that if you want, you can put a little bit of the mixture on the tray in some parts, only some parts. Okay, this just a little bit like this, because this can help you to stick the wax paper on the tray and it doesn't move when it's in the oven. So many times we will have an oven that throws air, hot air. The wax paper could get moved, and maybe the products could move in the cooking procedure. Okay, now we are going to serve the rest of the mixture. Okay, now before we put the eclairs in the oven, we are giving them a bath. We varnish them with a whole piece of egg. This process is simply because when those pieces are baked, at the end we need that they have a brown golden color. This is going to give us a little bit more of presentation, and of course this is going to help us that the view of this desserts gets better. Okay, in this case, remember this eclairs recipe doesn't have any sugar, so when we varnish them, we're helping them for they have a little bit of color. When we add sugar to the preparations, we have some phenomenons that are called caramelizing. Okay, caramelizing is thanks for the sugar that we add. So in this case, like this recipe doesn't have any sugar on it, we are helping us with the varnishing of the egg, for in the end it has a little bit more of color. Okay, so this is the last process before we put them on the oven. Okay, now yeah, remember the way this mixture works, it's that when we put them inside of the oven, we can't be opening the doors in every moment. It's really important that the water get concentrated inside of every piece. Okay, the water is going to become a mist, and this mist is going to make that all the pieces grows up. Okay. So if you open the door when this mixture is not ready, you could lose all the size that it has grow up, and maybe this is not going to be useful. Remember, this mixture is going to be baked at around 170 degrees, and it's going to be around 20 minutes long inside of the oven, or we can open it again to check if the texture is the one that we're looking for. So the main advice that we can give you for this is, once that the mixture is there, don't open the oven. Okay, now we proceed to make the strawberry coulis, and for this we have those frozen strawberries. For this it's really important that we use, well, it's by preference, we use frozen strawberries because those are cheaper. Okay, there will be always cheaper than the fresh strawberries. So we have here the frozen ones, and we're going to add the sugar. Okay, the lime juice, and we are going to be moving it for around 10 minutes until this mixture is hot and the strawberries are starting to get shattered, okay, like this point. So we're gonna keep moving this until this starts boiling for around 10 minutes, and see you then. Okay, after around 10 minutes that we have this mixture boiling, we can see that we have more liquid here, but we chop the strawberry. Okay, we're not going to sift it, we're not going to blend it, we are going to use these chopped berries to give texture to the inside of the eclair. But now what we're going to do is that we have here cornstarch with water that we call this mixture slurry. So we're going to add this slurry at the same time that we are moving on, okay, because this is going to make that this mixture gets tight. Okay, as you can see, we add this slurry to the mixture, and instantaneously you see a change of texture. Okay, so we're gonna keep moving a little bit more for around 1 minute, 1.5 minutes. until this mixture is really well cooked and we have tightened texture. Okay. After around 1.5 minutes that we've been moving this mixture, we can see that it's already, we have the texture we're looking for. So we're gonna turn it off, we're gonna take it away, we're gonna put it in a bowl, and we're gonna take it to the cold water or to the inverted bain-marie.
Now we are going to prepare the royal icing. For that recipe, we will need egg whites, powdered sugar. It's very important. You have to sift it before you use it. And we will use the paddle attachment for this recipe. Okay? Now we are going to start to mix these ingredients. It's gonna take maybe 2 or 3 minutes before to get the texture we needed. At the same time, we will add 1 tablespoon of lime juice. Try to keep the low velocity because the powdered sugar is powder, so it could get some cloud of sugar on your kitchen. After 3 minutes, we got this texture. It's a shiny texture, homogeneous. So we are going to let work 3 or 4 minutes more to get more volume. Okay? Okay. Now, when you get this texture, you will see it will get more volume. Oh. You'll see. Now we are going to pour this mixture in another bowl, and we will add a little of water to get a more liquid texture for our royal icing. Now, if you see the texture is really sticky and thick. Okay. Now we have, if you want to get royal icing with a light texture, we will add some water. But you have to control this part, because if you do this with a paddle attachment or the whisk, it will get more volume, and you don't want that. You only want to get a liquid texture. So in this part, I will add only a tablespoon of water. Maybe another tablespoon. It will help us. I can give you the exactly quantity, because sometimes the suppliers, when you buy the powdered sugar, the suppliers add more cornstarch or less cornstarch to the powdered sugar. So the only thing you have to check is the texture I will get for this recipe. Okay. You need to control, be careful, be patient. I always say that you have to be patient. You see, it's mostly liquid. Now I will add some coloring. This is an optional, it's not really necessary. It's an option. I will add a dot of red coloring. Food coloring, it's very important to remember that. Just a drop. And mix. Until to get a pink color in the mixture. Hey chef, I don't have this kind of coloring, food coloring. Well, you can use a liquid color, but be careful because if you add a lot, you can change the texture of the product, of the final product. So, royalizing, pink royalizing. Okay, now we are going to prepare the diplomatic cream with coffee pastry cream. So now the first thing you have to do is creaming a little your pastry cream with a whisk and reserve. The stabilizing cream, we have to whip it for 3 or 4 minutes until get a soft texture. Now, when you get this texture, it's soft texture, a soft peaks, it will be ready. Okay? Now we have here both creams, and we are going to mix or combine, but you need to be careful. You have to fold the mixture. So the first thing you have to do is take 1/3 of this cream, the whipped cream, and add to the pastry cream and fold. Try to fold the mixture. Don't give a lot. Don't mix with vigorously. Try to keep the texture like this. No? Now it's softer. Don't worry. If in this part of the process you think, hey, it's not totally, or the texture is not totally homogenizer, you don't have to be. You don't have to care. Now we are going to pour the rest of the cream, and we are going to combine. Remember, the action we are going to do is fold. Fold the mixture. This is the action to fold. Take the spatula and cover the cream. Fold the mixture. So you will get a softer cream with a lighty color and smooth texture. When all the texture or all the cream looks homogeneous, it will be ready to filling the eclairs. Actually, you can use this cream to fill in a cake or a profiterole. You can use it. Or even a tart. Now it's ready. Okay, now we are going to prepare the chantilly, the chocolate chantilly. Here you see the texture is really hard. So you will need a mixer, and the only thing you have to do is let the cream in the mixer, and with the whisk attachment, whip it for 5 or 6 minutes at medium velocity. Now we are going to start to whip it at medium velocity for 4 or 6 minutes until get a smooth texture. Probably you will see a different color, a lightly chocolate color, but it's gonna be a fine. Okay, now you see the texture is changing. The color is lightly and is smooth. Now we are going to put this mixture in a piping bag to present our finish our eclairs.
Well, now we proceed to make a Swiss meringue. For this preparation, as you know, and we saw in classes and the podcast, we're using a technique called bain marie. Okay, so in this case, we have a bath of water. In this case, is hot water, and we are going to pour the egg whites. Okay, and we're going to pour here the sugar. Remember that the formula to do this is combining 1 part of egg whites and 2 parts of sugar. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is that we're going to be moving with a rubber spatula here this mixture until we get an homogeneous preparation. So this is going to be for around 5 to 10 minutes to be moving. And remember, the most important part of this is to melt down all the granulated sugar, and we can arrive until 60 degrees to 70 degrees. Remember, this mixture has to be heated between 45 to 60 until 70. Okay, the cooking temperature of the egg white is 85, nearly 85 degrees Celsius. Okay, and we don't want to arrive to this temperature at this time. Okay, we're going to be moving this only until this granulated sugar be melted down and be full and completely mixed with the egg whites. And after that, we're going to take it to the mixer. Okay, for we can rise it until we have the meringue. Okay. We're going to keep moving this, and we're going to be coming back when this is ready to be whipped. Okay, after around 5 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes to be moving this mixture, we can see that the texture is really different. Now I'm gonna make a closer view of the rubber spatula with a little part of this mixture, and you can see that there is no sugar crystal around. Okay, so this is what we're looking for. As you can see, this mixture is starting to get transparent, okay, translucent. And now what we're going to do is that we're going to put this in the mixer for rising the meringue. Well, now before we add this mixture to the mixer, we have to make sure that this is really dry. It has no any kind of dust. We don't have any part of fat or grease, whatever it could have, that maybe it doesn't allow us to have the right size that we're looking for this meringue. Okay. Now that we make sure that this is already clean, we're going to put this mixture into the bowl. Okay. We have the texture, the right texture to make the meringue. Okay. Now, next step is to add a pinch of salt. Okay. It's going to help us to stabilize the mixture. Okay. And one drip of vanilla. Okay. Now, as I told you, we are going to set this mixer after 7 to 10 minutes of being whipping this meringue. We see that we have the texture we're looking for, so we're going to turn it off. Okay, and we're going to show you how is the texture. That this meringue is really shiny, it's glossy. It's well, we heat the egg whites and the sugar, and that gives us a glossy finish here. And as you can see, the texture we have here, it's a texture of soft peaks. Okay, because in this case we have the peak, but it's turned down. Okay, so when we have this texture for the soft peaks, is the one that we're going to use is the optimal one that we need to decorate the preparations of the eclairs. So see you there.
Okay, now we have here our eclairs, and we are going to use a skewer to make some holes, 2 or 3. It depends the size of the eclair. Now we have here the lime curd, I only filling the piping bag, and now I'm going to cut a little and check it. You need to check before try to filling the product. So you can start here and push. When you feel this ready, go to the other hole and repeat the action. Okay? You will use a lot of cream on every piece because actually this is empty. It doesn't have filling in the inside. So press, press, press. Yeah, another. A little more, and I think this is enough. Now, we prepare a Swiss meringue for this product. In this case, I will use this tip. This is a Saint Honoré tip. So I'm going to show you on the paper some shapes for this product. Sorry, remember I did a twist before. So turn it, and you will get the product exactly in that. I push a little, not too much, and do this action. You'll see? That's the shape you will get with this tip. So you can do this or this. And that will be enough. Okay? So now we are going to burn a little the meringue. Now with the torch, remember you have to be careful. This is a blow torch. Burn a little the meringue. It could be dangerous, so be careful please. And it's ready. You can finish there your product. Okay, now we are going to fill in this eclair. So, the first thing we are going to use is the Coolies. It's more like a jam. And now we are going to fill in with the cream. And now we are going to use the strawberries. And for the top, remember, we cover with the royal icing. And for that, we are going to drop a little of cream. And be careful to cover with this part of the eclair, and it will be ready. Okay, now for the coffee eclair, we will use the eclair, our diplomatic coffee cream, and we are going to top in this with a chocolate chantilly. Now remember, you need a squeezer to make a hole on the bottom of every eclair. Here we have the cream. This is a little bigger. This tip is a little bigger, so maybe you need to shape a bigger hole. And push and fill in with the cream. Totally. If that happens, don't worry. You can use a spatula or a knife and remove. Okay? Now, when you finish, we are going to use this is another kind of tip. This is a plain tip to shape some leaves. So we are going to cover the top of the eclair. So I'm going to show you some shapes with this. It's almost the same than the Saint Honoré, but it doesn't have the same volume. So the chantilly, this chantilly it's hard, so it's better if you shape a little line of the product on the top, and then try to shape some kind of ribbon. Now, to finish this, we can dust only cocoa powder, or if you can find golden shade food shade. Okay, to finish this dessert, you can dust only powdered cocoa powder, or in this case, I'm going to mix a little cocoa powder with this shade. It's a coloring, gold coloring, and it's for food. So I'm going to add a little and combine, and you will see it changing a little the tone. Probably in the image it's complicated, but alive is gonna be more easy. It's gonna be easier to look at. So we are going to use the strain, and look. It's gonna give you a little more shining to your final product. And now we are going to move this plating. So the texture and the color is going to be a little different.